Hey everyone, good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Darrell Winninger from the Central Oregon Daily Weather Center. We're about to do a deep dive in your most reliable forecast. It is hot. It has been breezy for many of us. It is very dry, and we do have a red flag warning that's in place. We're also continuing to track a couple different smoke plumes coming from fires across the Tri-County area, mostly just one, and we're going to get into that. Now, our cameras across Central Oregon show a little bit of that smoke plume activity that's going on, as well as not much in the way of cloud cover anywhere. And so as we go forward through the next couple of days, we are still going to be tracking these fires as well as the air quality and that red flag warning. So at the moment, our air quality is in the green. The hourly average and the real-time sensors from eSpace Labs here in Bend are showing good air quality. And those, as we go forward through tonight, that is going to be changing, and we'll be talking about that. But let's go ahead and shift gears a little bit. We're going to focus on the fires. See that huge blob in Jefferson County that has several fires around? Those are all hot spots that are derived from satellites, and there is a fire perimeter there as well. And that's one of the main fires, the Cram fire that we've been tracking, and it started right around Willowdale, and it continued to spread through parts of Jefferson County all the way over to Ashwood and further to the south. In the last 24 hours or so, where you're seeing each one of those fires, those are all fires that are derived by satellite imagery. And this fire, the closest edge of it is about 6 miles from Madras, but it is 64,000 acres, 0% contained, and the fuels that are primary fuels for this are tall grass and brush. Now here through the last couple of days, it has grown extensively. Everything you're seeing in red here, that is what has been burning today. That dark orange color, that was yesterday. That's where our flames are, and you can just backtrack that, see how this fire has progressed, and this is the latest information again. And our red flag warning stays in effect through tonight and most of tomorrow until 10 p.m. Notice it's not for the east slopes of the Cascades, rather everywhere else. These are issued by the National Weather Service, and I would have it through the entire Tri-County area and all of north central Oregon as well. But it's only been issued for the lower elevations as well as all the way through Crook County. Now, it's mainly because of the very dry conditions and the stronger winds at times. So let's talk about each one of those. Right now, our relative humidity. Now remember, humidity, this is how we measure the moisture in the atmosphere. We take the dew point and the actual temperature that it is now, and comparatively, you're looking at percentages of how close the temperatures to the dew point, and it is extremely dry. And there are a few spots where we're in the 20s, but they are few and far between. Now, when it comes to winds, right now we're focusing on Madras because this fire is about 6.4 miles, 6 miles to the east of Madras, but it is getting breezy here through the next couple of hours. Those winds coming out of the north and northwest. Tonight, breezy at times still, and then by tomorrow, breezy, even gusty at times. Now, when it comes to smoke from this fire, most of that smoke has been continuing to impact us day after day, depending on which direction it's coming from. That's where the smoke plume is blowing. And right now across the state, there are a couple fires, but by far the biggest one is the Cram fire right there in Jefferson County. Now, the smoke forecast does show that here through this evening, it's pushing into northern Crook County, really bypassing Prineville, headed towards Paulina. Overnight, though, that smoke is going to spread out as winds start to taper off. This is when we're looking at areas of poor air quality. Then by Saturday, we're still looking, winds becoming breezy at times, and that smoke continuing to impact communities right around the fire all the way through the morning. Now, when it comes to satellite and radar, there's not much to talk about. In parts of southeastern Oregon, there are some thunderstorms. Most of that thunderstorm activity is over southern Idaho, but when it comes to central Oregon and most of the Pacific Northwest, we are dry. Now, over Montana, some of those thunderstorms are prompting a few warnings and watches. That's going the other direction, far from us. And most of what the impacts that we've been seeing today have been because of this broad ridge of high pressure that's out over the Pacific Ocean. This is where it originates from, and it's expanded into the Pacific Northwest. This is what's keeping us clear. This is what is keeping us hot, and this is also what's suppressing a lot of that cloud cover development, and there's just no precipitation in sight. Now, going forward through tonight, winds do taper off. Temperatures fall back into the 50s with some 40s overnight. By Friday, we're looking at more sunshine. By the Friday evening, that's when some clouds could be rolling in through the early morning hours. And with that, it's staying dry. But this is a trough, a very weak cold front that is going to bring a modest dip in temperatures. Then after that, by Saturday and Sunday, in and out clouds in 80s. But right now, look at this. Highs in the last 24 hours, 90s with a few 80s on the map. And temperatures are close to that right now. We're sitting in the 90s for most of the Tri-County area, and it's already dipped back down to 89 in La Pine. But we're running between 0 and 8 degrees warmer than it was 24 hours ago. And this evening, our temperatures are going to be warm and then mild. And tonight, during the early morning hours, we could see some 40s on the map, but ultimately it's still going to be another hot day to wrap up the work week. On top of the heat, we have plenty of sunshine, just some evening clouds rolling in. So our UV intensity forecast is still very high. It stays high through Saturday, and it's not until we really start to see more of that cloud cover roll in on Sunday that we start to see a dip in that. By the beginning of next week, a few sprinkles are going to be possible Monday and Tuesday, but we have additional cloud cover Saturday and Sunday. That extra cloud cover on the backside of our cold front is going to knock down the UV intensity and our temperatures. But remember, we do have that red flag warning. Started 1 p.m. today, and it goes through 10 p.m. on Friday. Meanwhile, when it comes to the forecast model, we're just not showing much at all. I already showed you through Saturday. When we go a little bit further, we have that weak trough rolling through, and then by Saturday and Sunday, in and out clouds are expected. This is when we get that biggest dip in temperatures, and by the beginning of next week, our cooling trend bottoms out. So going from Sunday night through Monday, we're staying dry. This is the GFS, the long range forecast model. By Tuesday, some showers are possible by the afternoon. Could be a stray thunderstorm or two. Then by Wednesday and Thursday, we're back to dry, more sunshine, and heating up. So between now and 11 p.m. Saturday, no rain in sight. Winds, on the other hand, have been gusty this afternoon with gusts between 15 and 25 miles per hour. Actual wind speed's not as strong, more like 10 to 15 miles per hour, still coming out of the northwest. And not only will it get breezy tomorrow afternoon, but by Saturday afternoon, it's going to get breezy for many of us. And then by Sunday afternoon, we keep that trend going, mostly during the afternoon and evening hours that wind speeds really pick up. So for tonight, 50s and some 40s out there. By the time we get to Friday, we're topping out in the 90s with some 80s on the map, and here is that 7-day planner. It does show that temperatures start to dip down Saturday and Sunday. By Monday, our cooling trend bottoms out, and like I said, a modest cooling trend, bringing us from a little above average to below average for this time of the year by the beginning of next week. By Tuesday, we start to rebound. We have that chance of some showers with maybe a few thunderstorms, a little too far out to really nail that down, but we're back to either side of 90 degrees by Wednesday. Thursday, it gets even hotter. That is the latest in weather. I want to give you a quick look at your weather headlines for this Thursday, July the 17th. Breezy afternoon winds and dry. Elevated fire danger is expected. Remember, we have that red flag warning until Friday at 10 p.m. And then we have the weekend pattern flip. Now, though rain is not in the forecast, we do need the rain. Our latest drought monitor came out today, and it shows that moderate drought for most of Jefferson and Crook County and a little bit of Deschutes County. So we need the rain. We have a huge deficit for the month until you get around La Pine and the east slopes of the Cascades. The rest of us, just super dry. So here's what last week looked like with that drought monitor. A lot of yellow, a little bit of brown, more brown is spread across the Tri-County area. Again, that's the latest in weather. Join us tonight on Central Oregon Daily News. We're going to be live from Munchin Music. It's going to be fun. Here's a quick look at that red flag warning one more time for you. Have a good evening.